Hello students, so once again for class 12th, this is the video from Vistas, the chapter Evans tries an over level, and this is our fourth video, page number 76. In the third video, we read that now all the precautions these people, jail authorities, they had taken, now suddenly, maybe for a few seconds only, this governor thought that it was not needed. But then he thought, it's okay. When we have already bugged the cell, then there is no harm if we listen to whatever is going on in the cell. Though he was now thinking that they have taken all the precautions, and this is one of the biggest precautions they had taken, that they removed each and everything which could be used as weapon. They had removed everything from the cell. Okay, now there was nothing in Evans' cell, but suddenly this thought came, but what if this McLeary is having something with him in his pocket, and this Evans, he gets to know about it, and then he uses this thing as a weapon, and then he can make McLeary hostage. And that's why now he just thought of taking this last precaution, and that's why he now wanted to talk to these officers who were standing just in front of the cell. So page number 76. Now this is fourth para. The governor reached for the phone. It was 9:12 a.m. We remember that the exam was to start at 9:15. So this time it was 9:12. Just 3 minutes were left. But even then, he thought of giving instruction to the officers. The examinee and the invigilator had already been introduced by Stephens when Jackson came back and shouted to McLeary through the cell door, "Can you come outside a minute, sir? You too, Stephens." Now, on the other hand, Stephens and S. McLeary, they were gone inside. They both had gone inside the cell. But now only when Jackson got this call from governor, he called Stephens and S. McLeary outside. So he said, "Please, if you can come out of the cell." Jackson quickly explained the governor's worries, and McLeary patiently held out his arms at shoulder level whilst Jackson lightly frisked his clothes. "Something hard here, sir." And then he told what governor was thinking. That's why he said, "Sorry, sir, we never wanted to frisk you. Okay, so don't take it as insult, as disrespect, but just we want to take this precaution also." So McLeary said, "No problem, I'm there. Okay, whatever you want to check, you can check me, you can frisk me, you can even check my briefcase, etc. So you do your duty." So now they frisked this S. McLeary, and there was something in the pocket. When they were frisking, this is what they felt, that there is something in the pocket. They asked, "What is this?" He said, "No, nothing. This is my glasses only, reading glasses." "Something hard here." "My reading glasses," replied McLeary, looking down at the spectacle case. Jackson quickly reassured him, and bending down on the reassured him means he just opened it and he saw that this is nothing, this is only reading glasses. And then bending down on the landing, thumb flicked the catches on the suitcase. Now when he frisked this man, now he wanted to check the suitcase also. He opened just pressed it, and he opened the suitcase also. He picked up each envelope in turn. Now all the things were there. Okay, we remember first of all when big envelope is there, which is carrying the question paper, and this is sealed envelope. Okay, so he picked up each envelope in turn, carefully passed his palms along their surfaces. Now he passed the palms and he checked the surface also. Okay, that if there is inside the envelope, and seemed satisfied. He riffled curiously through a few pages of Holy Writ. So their Holy Bible was there. So he just curiously looked at this. He just wanted to see if there is something in the Bible. So that's why he curiously threw a few pages of Holy Writ and vaguely shook the church time. And then he shook the church time, that thin magazine also, which he was supposed to read while giving this duty. Alright, so far. But one of the objects in McLeary's suitcase was puzzling him sorely. But there was one thing which he could not understand, that why S. McLeary having that thing. Even you should also now remember what was that. Do you mind telling me why you have brought this, sir? He held up a smallish, semi-inflated rubber ring, such as a young child with a waist of about 12 inches might have struggled into. You thinking of going for a swim, sir? Actually, there was one semi-inflated rubber ring, and they could not understand what this man is going to do with it. Even then they asked, is it that you are going for swimming after this? Sir, because we are not able to understand why you are carrying this in the briefcase. McLeary's hitherto amiable demeanor was slightly ruffled by this tasteless little pleasantry. This question actually now S. McLeary did not like. Though he was smiling, but now this demeanor, this behavior was totally changed. Okay, he did not like this question, and he answered Jackson somewhat sorrowfully. So with a kind of bitterness only he answered. And what he said, if you must know, I suffer from hemorrhoids, and when I am sitting down for any length of time. Actually, hemorrhoid here means he tried to tell, actually, I suffer from piles, and sometimes I need it. Very sorry, sir. I didn't mean to. The embarrassment was still reddening Jackson's cheeks when he found the paper knife at the bottom of the case. I think I would better keep this though, if you don't mind. That is, sir. Now, naturally, nobody wants to go into details if one gets to know that the person is suffering from piles. So now even these two officers, they were feeling embarrassed that why they have asked about this rubber ring. So that's why they just now wanted to finish this checking, and they said, sorry sir, okay, we never knew this. And then they just saw this paper knife. Okay, they said, I think sir, we should not give this paper knife and we can keep it if you don't mind. It was 9:18 a.m. So now maybe near about 5 minutes they took, okay, to check the briefcase and to frisk this man. And now it was already 3 minutes late because the paper was to start at 9:15. But it was already now 9:18. Before the governor heard their voices again, and it was clear that the examination was going to be more than a little late in getting underway. So now, if you remember, governor is having a receiver which is permanently on mode, and now in that receiver, through that receiver, governor is going to listen whatever is going to happen in this cell. And now here, on the other hand, in this cell, this McLeary is there with the candidate, and now he is going to say certain things, certain instructions he wants to give to the candidate. McLeary, you have got a watch? Evans, yes sir. McLeary, I will be telling you when to start, and again when you have 5 minutes left. All right. Silence. Here silence means, first of all, he gave this instruction that just note down the time, and when 5 minutes were left, I would be giving you warning bell. Okay. And then silence means maybe then only he took the answer sheet from his briefcase and gave it to the candidate. McLeary, there's plenty more of this writing paper should you need it. Then he said there are many more supplementary sheets also, so if you want you can ask for it. Again silence. McLeary, now write the name of the paper. First of all, first silence means he gave answer sheet, and second silence maybe he gave now question paper. And then McLeary again announced, he said, now write the name of the paper 021-1 in the top left hand corner. And again silence, it means he's maybe helping the candidate to write all these things. McLeary, in the top right hand corner, write your index number -313, and in the box just below that write your center number -271. Alright, so these are the, we can say, routine things which this candidate was supposed to fill in the answer sheet. And now, by now, the time was 9:20 a.m. McLeary, I am now going to. Evans, he's not going to stay here, is he? No, maybe he was trying to, or maybe this McLeary was about to say that I'm now going to announce the time, you can start writing. But before that only Evans said, is it that this officer is going to stand over here in the cell only and he would be watching me like this? No, I can't do the paper then. He's not going to stay here, is he? I don't know about that. McLeary said, this I don't know, because these are prison rules. Okay, I can't say anything about it. Stephens. Mr. Jackson has given me strict instructions to. Now Stephen is trying to say, yes, I'm going to stay here only because Mr. Jackson has given me these instructions to stay here. Evans, how am I supposed to concentrate on my exam? With someone breathing down my neck? Sorry sir, I didn't. But Evans said, no, this way I can't write my exam. How it is possible that you are standing over here continuously looking at me and then I would be writing? No, this I can't do. The governor reached for the phone. Now, you remember, governor is also listening to whatever is going over here. So now these sounds reached to governor, and governor now listened to it. He heard it that Evans is not comfortable to write the exam if officer is standing in the cell. So governor reached for the phone. Jackson, good. Get Stephens out of that cell. Will you? I think we are perhaps overdoing things. Now governor ordered the senior officer who was standing outside. He said, I think we are overdoing everything. Better you call this junior officer outside. Okay, let him do the paper all alone. As you wish, sir. The governor heard the exchanges in the cell, heard the door clang once more, and heard McCleary announce that the examination had begun at last. So he heard all these sounds. The lock was opened, then Stephens came out. Again, the door was locked, and then ultimately, this S. McCleary, he announced that now you can start writing, and it was 9:25 a.m. So it means the paper is 10 minutes late. It was 9:25 a.m. and there was a great calm. At 9:40 a.m. Now all these timings you are to learn by heart. So after 15 minutes, when the paper had started, now after 15 minutes, at 9:40 a.m. the examinations board rang through, and the assistant secretary with special responsibility for modern languages asked to speak to the governor. Now there came a call from the examination department, and here this secretary, he wanted to talk to the governor. The examination had already started, no doubt, a quarter of an hour ago. Now governor only told, yes, examination has already started. 15 minutes ago it started. Yes, well, there was a correction slip which some fool had forgotten to place in the examination package. Very brief. Could the governor please? Now, this secretary said actually there was a correction in the question paper, and we had put this correction slip also, and we were supposed to put it in the envelope, but that person who was given this responsibility, he had forgotten to put it. And right now, if you allow, I would like to talk to those people only inside the cell, and we can give this correction. Yes, of course, I can put you straight through to Mr. Jackson in D-Wing. Hold the line a minute. Was this the sort of thing the governor had feared? Though governor said, no worry, okay, I will just give you the line, you can directly talk to them. Okay, but then he started thinking, is it that this is something I was always afraid that he can play very smartly, and this is the something kind of plan? Was the phone call a fake? Some signal? Some secret message? But he could check on that immediately. He started thinking, is it that this is really from the examination department only? Or this is some fake call? Okay, now he was worried, but then he said, no problem, I can check it. So how he tried to check this, whether this is fake call or not? He dialed the number of the examination board, but heard only the staccato bleep of a line engaged. Now he tried to dial the number of the examination department, but there this phone was naturally busy, and then he was satisfied. Means busy means naturally they are calling, okay, from that side, that's why maybe this phone is busy. But heard only the staccato bleep of a line engaged. But then the line was engaged, wasn't it? Yes, not very intelligent. And then he was relieved that no, it's not fake call. This man is not that smart. Okay, so it means this is from the examination department only, and there must be some maybe correction needed. 2 minutes later, he heard some whispered communications in the cell, and then McCleary's broad Scots voice. Now maybe McCleary only took the call, and McCleary got to know what the correction was, and now he heard McCleary's sounds, okay, in the cell, that he was talking about this correction. Will you please stop writing a wee while, Mr. Evans, and listen carefully? Though there is only one candidate, even then, this McCleary is announcing like a professional invigilator. So, candidate offering German 021-1 should note the following correction. On page 3, line 15, the fourth word should read goldener, not goldeny, and the whole phrase will therefore read some goldener lion, not some goldeny lion. I will repeat that. So this is how normally all the teachers, some if this is needed, they do the correction, page number, line number, and then all these things. So naturally, to the governor also, it's looked very normal thing. The governor listened and smiled. He had taken German in the sixth form himself, and he remembered all about the agreements of adjectives. And so did Macleady, by the sound of things, for the minister's pronunciation was most impressive. Now he understood certain things, he still remembered certain grammar, maybe items, and he was thinking that this translator is also very good at pronouncing these words in German language. But what about Evans? He probably didn't know what an adjective was. But then he was thinking about Evans, and he was, in a way, he was laughing that isn't that it was that important for Evans? Maybe he may not be knowing that much about this grammar. So maybe for him, Goldener and Goldeny was same thing. But it's okay that the correction is given to him. The phone rang again. The magistrate's court. They needed a prison van and a couple of prison officers. Remand case, and within 2 minutes the governor was wondering whether that could be a hoax. He told himself not to be so silly. His imagination was beginning to run riot. Now, after a few seconds, after a few minutes, again he got a call, and this time from the magistrate court, and they had asked for one prison van. For a second again he thought that it could be Hawk's call, but then again he reassured himself that no, how can this be Hawk's call, because this is again very normal things to happen. Many times they had sent their van over there. So then he reassured and he told himself that I should not be that much doubtful. So it is not going to be, we can say, that smart on the part of Evans. So I think we should stop here only in this video. Okay, so this is fourth video. Now the thing is that you revise these videos, you listen to these videos, watch these videos very regularly. When you start this chapter, then regularly you do all these videos. Thank you.